In this video, I'd like to offer you my early game tips for Valheim from the perspective of a non-pro player. I'm a beginner myself, but who is better positioned to give you these tips than a person who's just been through this? I am a few hours into the game, not hundreds of hours, but I am traveling I've beaten the first boss, I'm past the basics, and I wish I knew some of these things straight up. So that's what I want to offer you, especially if you are a World of Warcraft player. Then we will align even more so, because I am a World of Warcraft player, and maybe some of the comparisons I'll make, maybe some of the tips I'll do will resonate with you more so than those received from other channels. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gyro, I'm your host here. Valheim, I'm still playing Valheim. It's fantastic. It's not an exclusive content for my channel, but I am very excited to play it and very excited to share my early game tips. So, Valheim is a survival game. First and foremost, it's not a tip, it's just to put your mind at ease. A lot of you are thinking, survival is not my type of game, I don't want to starve to death, I don't want any of that kind of stuff. Neither do I. I'm a World of Warcraft player, and I'm a person who is trained for instant gratification by Blizzard, and I'm a person who likes a theme park type of experience. Yet, I'm completely sucked into this. So, it is a survival game. Yes, you have to do stuff, and I will tell you how to do it the least painful way. But it's not, in my opinion, and maybe I haven't seen yet the hardest bit of the game, or I'm not very experienced overall in terms of the genre of the survival games, but this is not very hardcore survival. Take it for what it is. Just take my word for it. It's not as hard as you think. Take it as a tip number 0. Now, not a tip maybe, but next point that I'd like to make is the world is random. It means that when you create a new character, you can generate a new world or reuse one of your saved worlds. Each world will look a bit different. However, so that means that I can't give you precise coordinates, let's say, where to go. But there is similarity between the worlds. There are quite a lot of randomness in terms of generation, but some of the things are very similar across, which is what these tips are going to be based on. So you will start in the area called the Meadows. It is, for the lack of a better word, that's the intro zone. It's a little more punishing than World of Warcraft intro zone would be, so things will attack you, but there is not much danger there. Quite honestly, there is not much danger there. So you will be communicating with the Odin's Raven, you know, the one that drops you in that world, and you're a Viking, yeah, in mossy Andes basically, and you need to build your life there. That is it. That is the whole premise of the game. There is no quest, there is no nothing. Other than inadvertently the Raven even says, well, prove your worth in this zone. Grow enough to beat the local boss, for the lack of a better word, and then you are safe to progress to further areas, etc. Even though no one is stopping you, you can go wherever you want. So, to know that you're ready for the next zone, so Meadows is the first zone, then there is Black Forest around it. So to know, you will need to find an altar. There is an altar that you will find, I understand, inevitably. Wherever you go, the world will be arranged in such a way that you'll just walk across it at one point. That's my understanding. If you know better, please let me know in the comments down below. You will walk across that, the Raven will tell you what it is, you need to make a sacrifice, which in the case of the first zone, it's going to be an elk. It's going to be an elk boss who you need to summon by giving a sacrifice. We will have a separate video talking about tactics on the first boss that I've just beaten last night, and it was fantastic. It was great. By the way, when you find anything such as that altar, right? I recommend immediately opening the map, pressing M, opening the map, and then you'll see markers on the right hand side, which are free to choose whichever marker you want to use. The game doesn't dictate this to you. Then you double click on the map wherever you want, and you can add a marker and give it a name, a descriptive name. Next time you open a map, and you will see in the footage behind me, I will do it on several occasions, it is really, really helpful for you to then find your way around. Do that. Absolutely, hands down, do that. Right-clicking on any marker removes it. That's a quick tip for you as well. Next, tip number 2, and major kind of big thing, which sort of is self-explanatory, but you might be a little selective, and I can tell you very, very black and white here as a statement: pick up everything. Pick up everything while you don't know what you're doing, because virtually almost everything you pick up, unless it's everything literally, is useful somehow. It might not be useful to you right now, but especially when you're in Mossy Andes and your inventory is empty, you have quite a lot of carrying capacity to have a lot of stuff. Main thing you need is wood. Wood is for building, wood is for early equipment, wood is for a lot of stuff. First and foremost, wood. There are branches on the ground, you can pick them up, you don't need to do anything. Pick thinner trees, not thicker trees, thinner trees, right? And just bash them down with your fists, but asterisk there, so stand by, I'll tell you what to look out for when you do that. Bash them down with your fists, they fall down, walk over that pile that fell down, and you will pick up wood, unless you want to target explicitly on the ground and press E, and that's how you pick up things. Pick stuff up. Another thing to pick up and look out for is stone. Pick up stone straight away. There are stones around altars, there are stones around rock formations, any rock formations, hills, etc. You can also find flint. You don't need flint instantaneously, because I believe that when you are an early character, it will be a little bit until you get to the point of actually being able to use the flint-based recipe. But flint can be found as more of those shiny, rounder kind of stones next to the ponds and creeks and those kind of streams. So look out for that as well. But pick up everything. You can get encumbered. You can pick up more than 100 pounds, 300 pounds, I believe, of the initial carry capacity. If you get encumbered, look, your regeneration slows down, you can't run, a whole bunch of bad things happen. Don't mess with it just yet, and just do not get encumbered. That is the advice. If you get encumbered, open your inventory with a tab and take a look at exactly what's there of a secondary nature. Maybe you picked up too many piles of wood. Drop the pile of wood. Just drag it out of your inventory and drop it. Maybe it's stone. What you can do is you immediately, when you drop something like this of value, because you overburdened yourself, open the map, put a marker there, say my pile of wood, and then come back to it and pick it up later. It is not going to be there forever. That is the thing. That's what I discovered the hard way. That's another mini tip here. So you cannot just leave the pile of wood and come back 3 days later. I think it will be gone. I do not know exactly the timer, but it will be there for a short period of time. So let's just say it's probably between your login sessions. It's going to preserve, but then it's gone. So if you want to pick it back up, come and pick it back up. Okay. There will be some hostile creatures. Some creatures will be non-hostile to you, like elks. They will or deer basically, they will run away. As soon as they see you, they will run away. They are a very desirable target because they have meat on them, they have skins on them and other kind of stuff, but they will be fairly desirable for you, but they will run away too quickly. But basically there will be greylings. Greylings are those little creatures that look more dangerous than they are. You can just fist fight them. And there'll be boars. Boars are also, well, animals, so but they're not like deer. So they will be frightened of you, but as soon as you come close to them, they will charge. One advice only is do not engage groups. Do not engage groups until you have weapons, until you know what you're doing, until you got a little bit of basics of tactical positioning. And there is not all that much of it in the game, but basically if you have a group, if you have a group aggroed, especially the bipedal creatures, especially not boars, but necks, it's those kind of little lizard-like folk that lives by the ponds. They come in groups very often. Sometimes boars attack you in groups. Just run away. And if you're running away normally, just press the arrow key, like W key or arrow key, whatever you mapped it to, forward, and just run. You'll be okay. If you want to sprint, you press the W key forward and hold shift. If you hold shift, you start sprinting. However, this is where we need to discuss something else that's really, really, really important. At the bottom of the screen, when you do anything, when you start bashing a tree down with your fists, when you fight someone and swing your axe, when you sprint, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see that there is a stamina bar. It's yellowish. It depletes. At first, it depletes very fast, but as your skill grows, whenever you do anything in this game, jump, sprint, press control to duck down and start sneaking about, like when you do any of that, it costs effort, it costs that stamina. So that bar starts depleting for you. So that's cool, that's just the cost of it, it's fine, it's inevitable. And you get better at it as well, so it will deplete not as fast. But watch it, especially if you're doing something like that pushes you, such as sprinting away from animals or whatever, or danger. First of all, when you let the bar deplete fully, it basically exhausts you. Let's just interpret it however we interpret it. There is no particular write-up or explanation in the game about it. That's how we have to interpret a lot of things there. It basically exhausts you, and then anything tiniest amount of damage, tiniest amount of stuff when your stamina bar is fully depleted and it's flashing and it's kind of completely black/gray. Any tiniest amount of damage, like you jump off a hill, boar charges you and hits you for tiniest amount, you die. You die. When you die in this game, you get returned. First of all, you're completely naked. All your stuff, whatever was on you, completely gets dropped where your corpse is, and it could be pretty damn far away. So it takes you all the way back. If you haven't done anything, if you haven't built anything, it takes you all the way back to where that original altar is, where the raven dropped you off. It could be a fair bit of distance. I figured it out the hard way. I did not build a bed, I did not build a house, I did not build anything that would bind me to a new spot, to a new spawn point. So if you have not moved your spawn point, it could be a very, very unpleasant and very long run for you if you die. And I died a few times in my experience so far. So with that being said, first, watch your stamina bar. Second, don't die. Third, when you finally can build, and we probably will have a separate video because it's way too much to talk about building, right? When you can build, one of the things you need to build straight away, you build a shelter. And I'll talk to you about building shelters. So I made a mistake of trying to make an ugly first one, which was fun in itself. But at the same time, one thing that I'm going to tell you straight up right now is that don't rush into building shelters straight up. Just walk. You will find abandoned villages and abandoned homes. Depending on how random your world is and how it was generated, you might find one pretty much straight away. Just look around. One could be in the vicinity of the original altar where the raven drops you off, or you need to go through the meadows a little bit. Usually houses are not in the thick of the bush, but sometimes I've seen that too, okay? But there are villages, there are 3 houses standing together, there are some patches of little bushes growing there. Best thing so far from my noob experience is the fact that you basically repair and make that village or that house your own. That gives you a roof straight away, that gives you a base of construction straight away, and you can build a bed inside of it. That's what you would be able to do. But we will talk about building in a separate video, otherwise this one will get far too long. There you go. So these are the first tips as you step into Valheim. That's stuff. I actually had heaps more points prepared even for this video. It's a loosely scripted video, but I have bullet points here behind the camera. I actually wanted to say a bunch more to you, but now looking at the time, I think I'm running out of time and I don't want to push your attention too far. Please like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you want both World of Warcraft and Valheim in this particular case while I'm interested, and your interest feeds mine as well. It tells me that I'm not wasting my time trying to produce these videos and talk to you. So tell me that you're enjoying this. It's very, very important. Do not ignore this. It takes only a second of your time, and it takes a lot longer than a second of my time to prepare this video for you, for better or for worse. Valheim is a fantastic game. It's super duper cheap. You have absolutely no reason not to try it. Stay tuned for more tips, especially if you want them. Let me know in the comments down below. Talk to you later. Thank you very much for today. Bye bye for now.